Respected, what if I told you that the greatest mistake most men make is believing that intimacy begins in the bedroom? What if the one thing many women quietly long for has almost nothing to do with performance and everything to do with how deeply they feel seen, valued, and emotionally safe? Stay with me, because what you are about to hear could transform not only your intimate relationship, but the entire way you connect with the woman you love. There is a question I have heard countless times over the years. Men of every age, every profession, and every background ask it in different ways. Some ask with confidence. Others ask with embarrassment. Many whisper it because they fear being judged. They ask, what do women really want? And surprisingly, most of the answers they have heard throughout their lives have led them in the wrong direction. The world has convinced many men that intimacy is measured by physical ability alone. It has taught them to chase techniques, speed, and performance while ignoring something much deeper. As a urologist, I have spoken with thousands of couples who believed they had a physical problem, only to discover that the real challenge was emotional distance. One gentleman in his early 60s came to see me feeling defeated. He believed age had taken away his ability to satisfy his wife. His shoulders were heavy with disappointment. He kept apologizing for something he thought he had lost forever. Then I asked him a simple question. When was the last time you asked your wife how she truly felt? He looked at me in silence. Not because he didn't love her, not because he didn't care, but because no one had ever taught him that emotional connection is one of the strongest foundations of satisfying intimacy. A few weeks later, he returned with a smile I had never seen before. He hadn't discovered a miracle pill. He hadn't undergone a complicated treatment. Instead, he and his wife had begun talking openly for the first time in years. They spent evenings walking together, sharing memories, laughing about old stories, and listening without interrupting one another. He said something that stayed with me. My wife told me she feels closer to me now than she has in 20 years. That statement carried more meaning than any medical report ever could. You see, intimacy does not begin with touch. It begins with trust. Many women secretly crave a partner who makes them feel emotionally secure before they ever think about physical closeness. They long to know that they are appreciated for more than appearance. They want to feel heard without being interrupted. They want their thoughts to matter just as much as their bodies. This may sound simple, but simplicity is often where lasting relationships are built. Imagine coming home after a long day. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone or turning on the television, you sit beside your partner and ask, "How was your day? Tell me everything." Then you listen. Not because you are waiting for your turn to speak. Not because you are trying to solve every problem, but because you genuinely want to understand. For many women, that conversation is one of the most attractive things a man can offer. The greatest intimacy often begins with genuine curiosity. Too many men underestimate the power of being emotionally present. Presence is a rare gift in today's busy world. A distracted conversation cannot replace an attentive one. A hurried embrace cannot replace meaningful affection. A relationship cannot thrive when two people share the same house, but live separate emotional lives. One couple I remember had been married for more than 35 years. From the outside, they seemed perfectly happy. They celebrated anniversaries, raised children, and built a successful life together. Yet inside their home, silence had quietly become a permanent guest. The husband believed providing financially was enough. The wife appreciated his hard work, but she missed feeling emotionally connected. She once told me something that many women may never say aloud. "I don't need perfection. I just want to feel important to him again." Notice those words carefully. Not richer, not younger, not more exciting, just important. Sometimes the strongest desire is simply to know that you still matter. That realization changes everything. When a woman feels emotionally valued, her confidence often grows naturally. She laughs more freely. She communicates more openly. She becomes more comfortable expressing affection because she feels accepted rather than judged. This is why the #1 technique many women quietly appreciate isn't really a technique at all. It is intentional emotional connection. It means slowing down, making eye contact, offering sincere compliments without expecting anything in return, holding her hand while walking, remembering details from conversations she thought you had forgotten. These small moments accumulate over weeks, months, and years until they become the invisible bridge that supports lasting intimacy. Many men spend years searching for complicated answers while overlooking these quiet acts of love. Real strength is not found in pretending to know everything. Real strength is found in asking, "What helps you feel loved?" That question alone has saved more relationships than many people realize. Communication is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of maturity. Healthy couples understand that no two people experience love in exactly the same way. What feels meaningful to one person may feel ordinary to another. That is why assumptions often create disappointment, while honest conversations create understanding. There is another misconception I often hear. Some men believe that expressing vulnerability will make them appear less masculine. The opposite is often true. A man who can admit his fears, apologize sincerely when he is wrong, and openly express appreciation demonstrates emotional confidence. Confidence is not loud. Confidence is calm. Confidence listens. Confidence respects boundaries. Confidence creates safety. And emotional safety is one of the most powerful foundations of a fulfilling relationship. Remember this carefully. People rarely remember every gift they receive, but they almost always remember how someone consistently made them feel. Years from now, your partner may not remember every dinner you shared or every vacation you took, but she will remember whether she felt respected, whether she felt heard, whether she felt chosen, whether she felt loved on ordinary days when no one else was watching. Because true intimacy is not built during extraordinary moments alone. It is built through hundreds of ordinary moments filled with kindness, patience, and genuine attention. The couples who remain deeply connected are rarely the ones without challenges. They are the ones who continue choosing each other despite those challenges. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. Love is not sustained by perfect performance. It is sustained by consistent presence. There is something remarkable that happens when two people begin to feel emotionally safe with one another. Walls that took years to build slowly begin to disappear. Conversations become more honest. Laughter returns without being forced. Even silence starts to feel comforting rather than awkward. This is the point where many couples discover that true intimacy has never been about impressing each other. It has always been about understanding each other. I often remind people that the human heart is far more powerful than most of us realize. Every meaningful relationship is built on emotional memories. Long after physical appearances change and life circumstances become more challenging, those emotional memories remain. They become the glue that holds two people together when everything else seems uncertain. Think back to the beginning of any beautiful relationship. Chances are, it was not a grand romantic gesture that created the strongest bond. It was the conversations that lasted late into the night, the excitement of learning about each other's dreams, the feeling that someone finally understood you without judging you. That emotional connection was never an accident. It was the foundation upon which everything else was built. Unfortunately, as the years pass, many couples slowly stop doing the very things that brought them together. Responsibilities increase. Careers demand attention. Children require care. Financial pressures grow heavier. Before they realize it, they become excellent partners in managing a household, but strangers in understanding each other's hearts. One woman once shared something that deeply moved me. She said, "My husband still works hard for our family, and I respect him for that. But I miss the man who used to ask about my dreams." Notice what she missed. Not expensive gifts, not luxury vacations, not grand displays of affection. She missed being emotionally pursued. Many women quietly long to know that they are still interesting to the man they love. They want to feel that their thoughts, ideas, and emotions continue to matter, even after decades together. That realization changes the way we think about relationships. Too many men believe romance has an expiration date. It does not. Curiosity should never retire. One of the healthiest habits any couple can develop is continuing to ask meaningful questions. Ask about her hopes. Ask what has been on her mind lately. Ask if there is anything weighing on her heart. These conversations create emotional closeness that no material gift can ever replace. I remember another couple who had been married for nearly 40 years. They came to see me because they believed their relationship had simply become routine. There was no major conflict, no betrayal, no dramatic crisis, just distance. As we talked, I noticed something unusual. Whenever the wife spoke, the husband immediately interrupted with advice. He genuinely wanted to help. But she wasn't asking for solutions. She was asking to be heard. There is an important difference. Sometimes the greatest act of love is resisting the urge to fix everything. Listening with patience often communicates far more love than offering immediate answers. When someone feels heard, they feel respected. When they feel respected, they begin to trust more deeply. And trust creates emotional freedom. Many women carry invisible emotional burdens. They may worry about aging, family responsibilities, work pressures, or whether they are still appreciated. These concerns are not always spoken aloud. They often remain hidden behind a smile. A thoughtful partner notices the emotions behind the words. He recognizes when she seems unusually quiet. He notices when her smile appears forced. He asks gently, "You seem different today. Is everything all right?" That simple question tells her she is not invisible. Being noticed is one of the greatest emotional gifts we can offer another human being. People often assume attraction fades because of time. In reality, attraction often fades because attention disappears. Where attention goes, connection grows. If you consistently pay attention to your partner's emotional world, your relationship becomes stronger with every passing year. Small daily actions matter far more than occasional grand gestures. A warm hug before leaving for work. A sincere thank you after an ordinary meal. A message during the day saying, "I was thinking about you." Looking into her eyes while she speaks instead of looking at a screen. These moments may appear insignificant on their own. Together, they become the language of lasting love. One husband told me he had started writing short handwritten notes to his wife every Sunday morning. Sometimes they were only 2 or 3 sentences. "I appreciate everything you do. I'm proud of the life we've built. You still make me smile." Months later, his wife told him she kept every single note inside a small wooden box. She said whenever she felt discouraged, she opened that box and read them again. Imagine that. Words written in just a few minutes became a source of comfort for years. Never underestimate the power of sincere appreciation. Gratitude is attractive. Kindness is attractive. Respect is attractive. These qualities never grow old. Now let us talk about another misunderstanding that quietly harms many relationships. Some men believe confidence means always appearing strong. But emotional maturity requires something much greater. It requires humility. There is incredible strength in saying, "I was wrong." There is wisdom in saying, "Help me understand how you feel." There is courage in saying, "I want us to become closer." These words do not diminish a man. They elevate him. Healthy relationships are not competitions where someone must win every disagreement. They are partnerships where both people choose understanding over pride. Pride creates distance. Humility creates connection. When couples stop trying to defeat each other and begin trying to understand each other, something extraordinary happens. Arguments become conversations. Frustration becomes compassion. Distance becomes closeness. Many women are not searching for a flawless man. They are searching for a man who is willing to grow. Growth is one of the most attractive qualities any person can possess. It says, "Our relationship matters enough for me to become a better version of myself." Imagine hearing those words from someone you love. Imagine knowing they are still choosing you after all these years. That feeling is priceless. Because at the end of the day, the deepest form of intimacy is not simply being physically close. It is knowing that someone continues to choose your heart, your mind, your dreams, and your happiness day after day, year after year. That is the kind of connection that transforms ordinary relationships into extraordinary ones. As the years pass, something quietly changes in every relationship. The excitement of new beginnings naturally settles into the rhythm of everyday life. Bills must be paid. Responsibilities multiply. Unexpected challenges arrive without warning. In those moments, many people begin to believe that love has faded. But in reality, what often fades is not love itself. It is intentional effort. The strongest couples I have ever met were not the ones who never struggled. They were the ones who refused to let life's distractions steal their emotional connection. There was a man in his 70s who visited my office for what he believed was a medical concern. He spoke softly, avoiding eye contact. After listening carefully, I realized his greatest pain had very little to do with physical health. He felt lonely, not because he lived alone. His wife sat beside him. They shared the same home. They ate at the same table. Yet they had slowly stopped sharing their hearts. When I asked them how often they simply sat together without television, without phones, and without discussing responsibilities, they looked at one another with surprise. Neither could remember. That answer said everything. Modern life has made it easier than ever to communicate, yet harder than ever to truly connect. Messages replace conversations. Screens replace eye contact. Notifications interrupt moments that could have become lifelong memories. Real intimacy asks something different of us. It asks us to be fully present. Presence cannot be purchased. It cannot be downloaded. It cannot be rushed. It is a decision.